if everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, to be led by Councilman O'Connor.
Right hand over your heart, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good afternoon and welcome. Happy New Year and welcome to our January Town Board meeting. It is the first official meeting of the year. We did have our organizational meeting earlier in the month where we adopted our rules and did all of the other business. I have a few comments and then I'm going to ask the town attorney to share something with you. This is the month we commemorate the birthday of Dr. King, the only federal holiday designated as a National Day of Service, encouraging all Americans to volunteer and join in the efforts to improve their communities in whatever small way they can, with a call to action for each of us to seek ways to engage and give back to the communities we live in. Hopefully, we will carry that spirit with us each and every day throughout the year. Yesterday, January 27th, marked International Holocaust Remembrance Day, a solemn day of reflection as we honor the memory of the 6 million Jewish victims and millions others who perished during the Holocaust. This date serves as a powerful reminder of our collective responsibility to combat anti-Semitism, hatred, and injustice in all forms. In our town of Islip, we join communities worldwide in recommitting ourselves to ensuring that the voices of survivors continue to educate future generations. Through our Town of Islip Unity Council, we have been privileged to host Holocaust survivor Edith Gross of Oakdale, whose powerful story of survival and hope has educated and inspired countless students and community members. The new year also wasted no time in reminding us that the winter weather is truly upon us. Be it snow, ice, or freezing temperatures, there are many hazards residents should prepare for. A reminder that we must all do our part to keep roads clear and free of obstructions so that the plows and emergency vehicles can pass safely and effectively during the winter storm events. Please remember to remove your vehicles off the streets and into your driveway. During snow emergency, residents are able to park on their lawns if they have to in order to keep the vehicles off the road so the plows can really do their job curb to curb. I encourage all to head to our website and sign up for e-alerts. It's the fastest way to get essential information regarding Islip Town news as well as up-to-the-minute weather-related information. I also want to extend, on behalf of myself and the town board, a sincere thank you to the dedicated crews and DPW staff on their outstanding work removing snow and helping keep Islip clear and safe as possible. Lastly, as we chart our course for the next 2 decades and beyond through our comprehensive TOI 360 planning initiative, we're approaching a critical milestone in our community engagement process. Islip's future needs your voice. The public survey deadline is approaching and all responses must be submitted by February 15th. Your insights for our town are invaluable in helping us chart a vision that truly represents our diverse community. Additionally, for those who missed our January 8th public workshop, a reminder that both the meeting summary and recording are available online. These resources provide valuable insights into the community's discussion so far and the planning process ahead. Don't miss a chance to influence Islip's future. You can find the workshop materials and complete the public survey at www.toi360.com. So I thank you for that. And I would like to ask the town attorney, among the things that were conducted at the organizational meeting were the adoption of our rules, and in particular, I would like him to share the rules of decorum as pertains to addressing the town board and participating in the process. If you would.
Good afternoon. Specifically, I'm going to read Rule Number 6 of the Rules of Decorum. The use of profane, vulgar, inflammatory, threatening, abusive, or disparaging language or racial or ethnic slurs directed at the supervisor, members of the town board, town officials or employees, and members of the general public, or statements by a person attending the meeting which are made during the public participation segment of the agenda or during a public hearing shall not be tolerated. Any individual that uses profane, vulgar, inflammatory, threatening, abusive, or disparaging language or racial or ethnic slurs directed at any member of the town board, town employees, or any members of the general public shall be removed from the meeting.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to be sure that everyone was aware of that. It's something that's been there for years and years. We have not really employed removing anyone who has violated the rules, but I do believe that we've gotten a lot of comments about some of the disrespectful dialogue that's taken place, and we will, in fact, be engaging that. So we can agree, we can disagree, but let's do it respectfully. Right now, we will begin this afternoon. We have 2 scheduled public hearings for the board's consideration, and I would ask the town clerk to please read the first hearing notice.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. Item number 1, to adopt the Town of Islip 2025 capital budget that was adjourned at the Islip Town Budget Hearing, November 7th, 2024.
We do not have anyone who has signed up to speak on the budget. I would ask our controller, Joe Ludwig, to please come forward.
Joseph Ludwig, Controller for the Town of Islip, 401 Main Street. Good afternoon, Madam Supervisor and members of the Town Board. What you guys have in front of you is the proposed capital budget for 2025. It takes us from 2025 through 2028. Obviously, 26 through 28 are all estimates because what happens today is going to be very different than what's going to happen tomorrow. But the grand total, and I apologize for not having the exact numbers off my head, it's in the $42 million range, which is about where we've been for the last several years, give or take. And the most boring part of the capital budget speech that I give to you guys every year is that this is, for the most part, the same boilerplate type projects we do year in, year out. Not a lot of fancy things, not a lot of crazy things, but unfortunately, as a township, we have things we have to maintain. Roads, drainage, buildings, parks, and that usually eats up the majority of our capital budget. I do want to point out a couple of things that are somewhat newish. We have a proposed number in there for the design service to start on the Casamento pool. We've already done Roberto Clemente. We've also done Byron Lake. So Casamento is the last on the agenda. This starts that ball rolling. We also have 2 specific drainage projects. Just to jump back to last year real quick, when we were using the ARPA funds, in conjunction with the Commissioner of DPW, we had identified an outflow, if I'm using the right term, that had drainage issues and runoff, and we were allowed to use ARPA money for it. The Commissioner had also identified 2 other locations, one in Sayville and one in Bayshore. We did not have the funding at the time. Those 2 projects, and I believe they're the first 2 listed under the DPW section. Mm-hmm. Those are the other 2 locations that the DPW Commissioner had identified. Again, kind of a little bit different. They are replacing the pump generators so that when those roads do flood, the pumps will have a better opportunity, if my understanding is correct, if I remember correctly. The pumps that are getting put in are better, more powerful, and we're attaching a backup generator to them so that if there is an electrical failure, they will still be able to run, hopefully for as long as we need them till the electric comes back up. Outside of that, there really isn't a lot within the capital budget that's different than what we've done in previous years. You'll see we're still doing some turf fields. Like I said, the drainage number has increased because we are having drainage issues throughout the town of Islip. We are trying to address them. I'm trying to go through this real quick, and I apologize. If you guys have any specific questions, that would bail me out big time.
A dedicated line for paving, not just road and but parking lots also. sidewalks, traffic safety improvements. You know, it's a commitment on the town's part to go from east to west, you know, north to south, and address the roads that are neediest first. That has been the policy, and we've been following through on that, and there is funding in there for that. We have been looking to get grant funding to cover some of this. A lot of times, the money has to be expended first before we get the grant proceeds. Sometimes not, but, you know, having it in this document, and again, this is really a planning document. Just because we hopefully adopt it today doesn't mean we're going forward with it, because each and every project would have to come before the town board for the appropriate appropriation for whichever project, you know.
Once again, Madam Supervisor, you steal the words right out of my mouth. Yes, this is, I like to say, this is the first wrap at the apple for you folks. There will be a second round where you guys are going to have to say yay or nay to projects and how we're going to fund them. 90% of our projects, when we do them, are funded through bond resolutions, which you all went through last year. But to the supervisor's point, sometimes they are grants. You guys will adopt those grant resolutions. If we're going to fund it from an operating transfer, there'll be a transfer that comes before the board. So don't think that adopting this today locks anybody into any of the projects or the numbers that are even listed here. There will be at least one more wrap at the apple to make suggestions, changes, tweaks. Departments who had plans to do something September of last year, that project may now be pushed off for whatever reason. So just please understand, this is a work in process. We will tweak it and tailor it to come up to what we actually will be able to do, the money that we can actually spend reasonably within 2025, because it does not make sense to borrow money that we're not going to use. Why pay the debt service on it? So there will be another wrap for you guys to take a look at this.
And also, you know, when Joe refers to the bonding with our outstanding credit rating, you know, now's the time to do this project, these projects.
Correct.
Or some of them, anyway. Also, too, Joe mentioned we're still committing funding to some turf fields, but also there's $500,000 for park improvements, also playground equipment, repairs to courts and ball fields. Also, we're addressing cybersecurity and our technology and IT needs, so that we're not vulnerable to any cyber attacks that may happen, or if they do happen, that we can address them, you know, seamlessly, which we did 2 years ago on
Right.
Thanksgiving weekend. So I think to all of the departments that participated and worked with the Controller's Office on crafting this, I just want to say thanks. We really appreciate all your efforts. I think you kind of touched on all the points that we need to address.
They do their best. Again, it is very much like filling out your Christmas list, you know, in early December that you give to your parents, because it's going to go to Santa, but, you know, it's just your parents. And, you know, as much as we would all love to do every project that's listed, it's just not feasible, and it's not reasonable that we're going to get them all done. So we have to pick and choose to make sure we get the right ones done that we can get done.
Are there any questions for the Controller at this time? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing and adopt the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Councilman O'Connor. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? It is, hearing is closed, and the capital budget plan is adopted. Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you would please read the next hearing notice.
Item number 2, to consider amending the Islip Uniform Traffic Code.
Any questions? Again, there are no cards. Anyone wishing to speak on this? Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor. Second by Councilman Guadrone. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. You know, despite reading Rule 6, there seemed to have been some misinformation. I'm not going to say lies, but misinformation shared. And to characterize the supervisor and/or any of the town board members showing little interest to Roberto Clemente Park is an outright, disingenuous is the kindest thing I can say. We've spent over $11 million on Roberto Clemente Park. No funds, please. If you speak out, you will be ejected. $11 million plus has been spent on Roberto Clemente Park. And the list goes on what has been done in that hamlet. And if you want an up-to-date update, come to the Brentwood Chamber of Commerce meeting this week, because they have asked me to come do a status of Brentwood, and you will see what we have done, the number of roads that have been paved, the attention that has been paid to that hamlet, like every other hamlet in this town. When the need is there, we address it and we answer. With that, we will go on to the agenda. Okay. The first item on the agenda is the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone. I would now call for a motion to convene by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardron. All those in favor, opposed, the meeting is convened. A quorum is present. Mr. Hemingway.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the Foreign Trade Zone Board. My name is Brad Hemingway. I'm the Executive Director for the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone, located in Ronkonkoma, New York. Just 3 items for your consideration today as we get the year underway, some contracts to have put before you. The first item being approval of the minutes from our October 22nd, 2024 meeting of the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Board.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Motion by Councilman McElway, second. By Councilman Guardron. All those in favor, opposed, minutes are approved.
Next item is authorization for the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority to enter an office cleaning contract with Clean and Reliable Services, Inc. for calendar year 2025 with an option to renew.
Any questions on this? Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor. Second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor, opposed, approved. Next item.
Lastly for today is the authorization for the Town of Islip Foreign Trade Zone Authority to enter into a contract with Quinn and Finer Service Company for heating and cooling maintenance at 1 Trade Zone Drive, Ronkonkoma, New York, 11779, also with an option for renewal.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardron. Second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
I have
Any
no
other
further items.
Hearing none. Motion to adjourn the Islip
Thank you, Madam
Trade
Supervisor.
Zone. Motion and a second. It is adjourned. We move now to the meeting of the Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency. Call for a motion to convene. By Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guardron. All those in favor, opposed. The IDA Board is convened with a quorum present, and Mr. Walzer.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the Agency Board. John Walzer, Executive Director, 40 Nassau Avenue, Islip, New York. I have a number of items for your consideration today. The first item is to approve the minutes from the last Agency Board meeting on December 17th, 2024.
Any question on the minutes? Motion by Councilman Guardron. Second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Thank you. The next item is to the next item for your consideration is to approve the 2025 meeting schedule for the agency.
Do we have a motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilman McElway. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Next is a resolution appointing officers to the agency.
We have a motion by Councilman Guardron, second. By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Next for your consideration is to adopt an audit committee for the agency.
Motion by Councilman McElway, second. By Councilman Guardron. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Next up for your consideration is to adopt a finance committee for the agency.
Make that motion, second. By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Next item for your consideration is to adopt a governance committee for the agency.
Motion by Councilman Guardron, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Next item for your consideration is to adopt a code of ethics policy for the agency.
I'll make that motion by Councilman McElway, second by myself. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Next for your consideration is to adopt an investment policy for the agency.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardron. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Next up is to adopt a procurement policy for the agency.
Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guardron. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Next up for your consideration is to adopt a conflict of interest policy for the agency.
Motion by by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Next up for your consideration is to adopt a travel authorization and mileage reimbursement policy for the
I'll
agency.
make that motion, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Thank you. The next item for your consideration is to adopt a property disposition policy for the agency.
Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Next item for your consideration is authorization for the agency to enter into a contract for computer programming services.
Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Okay, next for your consideration is authorization to enter into a marketing agreement with JVC Broadcasting.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Thank you. The next item for your consideration is an inducement resolution between the agency and American Made Grills at 79 Carlo Road in Bohemia. The company is being relocated from California. They're a manufacturer of stainless steel luxury outdoor living appliances, including barbecues, sinks, cabinetry, and burners. This project represents a $1.5 million capital investment and the creation of 22 new jobs.
Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
The next item for your consideration is also an inducement resolution between the agency and Northeast Aero Compressor Corp. at 30 Raisons Court in Hauppauge. This is a relocation and expansion of a service provider to the aviation community, providing inspection, repair, and overhaul of airplane components and systems. This project represents a $5.8 million capital investment, the retention of 77 jobs, and the creation of 27 new jobs.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
The next item for your consideration is an inducement authorizing resolution between the agency and Steel Campus LLC. This resolution pertains to the Belmont at Eastview project, Phase 2, located at 300 Carlton Avenue in central Islip.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
And the last item I have for your consideration is an inducement resolution between the agency and Prodose, Inc., located at 2004 Orville Drive North in Ronkonkoma. Prodose packages, labels, and distributes pharmaceutical products. They recently purchased the assets of Spirit Pharmaceuticals. This project represents a $9.7 million capital investment, the retention of 120 jobs, and the creation of 20 new jobs.
Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
And that's all the business I have for the agency.
Thank you so much. Motion to adjourn by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor, opposed, we stand adjourned. Next item on the agenda is the meeting of the Town of Islip Economic Development Corporation. I'll make that motion to convene, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, we are convened, a quorum being present. Mr. Walzer.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the Corporation Board. As we get underway here for the new year, I have a number of items for your consideration, similar to the agency. We have to approve the minutes from the last Corporation Board meeting on December 17th.
Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Also to approve the 2025 meeting schedule for the Corporation.
Is there a motion? Motion. By Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor, opposed.
Okay, next up is a resolution appointing officers to the Corporation.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
Thank you. The next item is to adopt an audit committee for the Corporation.
So 5, 6, and 7 are to adopt committees. Audit Committee, Finance Committee, and Governance Committee. Can we take these in one motion?
Second.
One motion, great, by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5, 6, and 7 are adopted. Likewise, with 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and 13, these are all resolutions adopting policies.
Correct.
8 being Code of Ethics, 9 being Investment, 10 Procurement, Conflict of Interest, Property Disposition, and Travel Authorization and Mileage. So I make one motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guadron, to adopt resolutions 8, 9, 10 through 13. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved.
And thank you for
Any other
making that
business?
easier for me, Madam Chair. That's all the business we have today.
Thank you so much. Next, we will move to the Board Up Cleanup Resolutions. Jeff, if you would.
Good afternoon, Madam Supervisor, members of the Town Board, and the Town Clerk. Jeffrey Panache, Assistant Town Attorney, 655 Main Street, Islip, New York. I do have 8 matters on for your consideration here today. Number 1, to board up the premises located at 27 Pine Top Drive in Central Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists broken windows on the east side of the dwelling, as well as doors on the dwelling where previously affixed plywood has been removed, allowing access to its interior, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 2, to board up and clean up the premises located at 28 St. Andrew Drive in Brentwood. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists an unlocked door on the south side of the dwelling, allowing access to its interior, a hole in the southeast side of the dwelling, a damaged white pickup truck cap, an unregistered blue Chevrolet Monte Carlo, an unregistered brown Chevrolet pickup truck, as well as overgrown vegetation and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Jeff, the next item, I believe, 60 West Drive, you were here, heard the woman who came forward, Kate, I believe her name was?
Yes, and I had an opportunity to speak with her
Oh,
out in the
great.
hallway as well.
Okay.
So I did explain to her the process.
And just one question as well. She mentioned in her comments that she had some items in the shed that she wanted to retrieve.
Yes, I explained to her there's nothing preventing her from doing
Yeah,
that.
it's still her property. She has every right to go on it and remove whatever items she wants to from the shed. She owns the property. Nothing in this resolution changes that.
That is correct.
Thank you, Jeff.
Any questions?
Actually, I don't think I presented it yet. So,
Go ahead.
number 3, to clean up the premises located at 60 West Drive in Ronkonkoma. On this vacant property, there now exists overgrown vegetation as well as litter and debris, including cut tree trunks and branches, decaying vegetation, wood crates, and plastic coverings, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
And that, too, answers her comment about notice. They will have notice.
Yes, that's correct.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 4, to board up the premises located at 69 Brightside Avenue in Central Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists a broken window on the west side of the dwelling, a rectangular opening on the east side of the dwelling, an opening in the foundation of the dwelling allowing access to its interior, and a gap in the chain-link fencing used to secure the property, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with the property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 5, to clean up the premises located at 75 Bushwick Avenue in Central Islip. On this vacant property, there now exists overgrown vegetation on the north side of the dwelling, as well as various items of litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion? By Councilman McElway, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 6, to board up and clean up the premises located at 131 Bell Avenue in Ronkonkoma. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists damaged aluminum siding in the rear of the dwelling, exposed electrical boxes and wires throughout, broken windows, a large hole in the dwelling allowing access to its interior, a wooded deck with no floorboards present, overgrown vegetation, and various items of litter and debris scattered throughout the property, including construction debris, a discarded refrigerator, household trash, and other rubbish, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman McGilway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 7 has been withdrawn as the property is now in compliance. And number 8, to clean up the premises located at 971 Islip Avenue in Central Islip. On this vacant property, there now exists overgrown vegetation throughout, as well as litter and debris, including garbage bags, plastic bottles, plastic containers, decaying branches, a discarded ottoman, and various other items of rubbish, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman McGilway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Jeff. We will move now to number 5, appropriation resolutions, appropriation transfers. Do I have a motion? And is there?
Since there was a request to add on an appropriation transfer for the emergency repair of taxiway H
At the airport, yes.
at the airport, we need a motion to
Motion
waive
to
the
set aside the rules and offer the resolution as presented to the town.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor. I'll second that motion. All those in favor of adding that? That would have to be a separate motion. Oh, right?
That puts it before the board, and then
Right.
now.
Okay. So that is now included in the appropriation transfers. So I have a motion on the motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guadrone. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. That takes us to item 6, the appointment of Nancy Irwin-Wine as Deputy Commissioner of the Fair Harbor Dunewood Medical District. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman McGilway. I'll second that. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 7 is an approval of permitting the town controller to make any and all budget adjustments and journal entries in order to properly reflect the 24 operations for the town of Islip. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second
Second.
by Councilman McGilway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 8, authorization for supervisor to enter into contract with PKF O'Connor Davies to perform the audit for the year ended December 31st, 2024. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second
Second.
by Councilman McGilway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 9, authorization with the town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to consider amending the Town of Islip Uniform Traffic Code. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 10, authorization with the supervisor to accept a state and municipal facilities grant from the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York to go towards the installation of ADA ramps to the property located on Hunter Avenue in West Islip. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman McGilway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 11, authorization supervisor to accept a state and municipal facilities grant for the installation of rapid flashing beacons on Gibson Street between South Park Avenue and Ocean Avenue in Bay Shore. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman McGilway, second by Councilman Guadrone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 12, authorization for supervisor to execute a contract with Suffolk Paving for DPW 1-2025, a requirements contract and specifications to furnish and install asphalt concrete on various town roads. Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor.
Second.
Second by Councilman McGilway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 13, an agreement for the authorization for the supervisor to enter into several agreements for programs or events to be held throughout the town of Islip. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion. Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
We have 3 in favor, 1 abstention. Next, we move to item 14, authorization supervisor to accept approximately 600 individual lunch servings from Catholic Health Good Samaritan University Hospital to be offered during the Fall Prevention Education Series at various senior centers throughout the town of Islip, and that's fall with a lowercase f, fall prevention. Motion by Councilman Guardron, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 15, authorization town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider a one-year contract with Community Ambulance for providing emergency ambulance services. And just to note, again, misinformation, fake news, whatever you want to call it, not every fire department provides or is able to provide ambulance service, and that's why we have separate ambulance districts. I see the controller nodding his head back there. Thank you, Joe. Motion by Councilman O'Connor. I'll second that motion. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. That was item 15. We go to 16. Public hearing to consider a one-year contract with Central Islip Hop Hog Volunteer Ambulance for providing emergency ambulance services. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next is an authorization of town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider a one-year contract with Brentwood Legion Ambulance Company for providing emergency ambulance services. Just to note, Brentwood Ambulance provides more calls than any other ambulance company, fire department, anywhere. They are quite busy and do a fine job, as they will do. Motion by Councilman Guardron, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 18, authorization town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider a one-year contract with Bayshore Brightwaters Rescue Ambulance for providing emergency ambulance services. Motion by Councilman McElway. I'll second that motion. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 19, authorization town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider a one-year contract with Exchange Ambulance Corporation of the Islips for providing emergency ambulance services. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 20 is an authorization for supervisor to enter into a contract of sale with and execute a deal of conveyance to Steel Campus LLC and Marcus ISP Apartments Holding LLC. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 21, approval of the list of employees who are required to file a financial disclosure statement with the Town of Islip Board of Ethics. Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guardron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 22, authorization for supervisor to consent to the assignment and assumption of the lease agreement for Lot 39 at Captree Island in the Great South Bay to Rebecca Leah Clark. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? All in favor? Opposed?
One opposed. I'm sorry, one abstain.
Okay, we have 3 in favor, 1 abstention. The motion passes. Item 23, authorization supervisor to consent to the assignment and assumption by Eric Juntunin to Tanya Fuchs and Mark Shavani for certain real property located on Happamire Island in the Great South Bay. Are there any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guardron. All those in favor? Opposed?
One no.
We have 3 in favor, 1 in opposition. The motion passes. Item 24, authorization for supervisor to enter into a vehicle lease agreement with Suffolk County Office of the Aging for the purpose of providing a 12-passenger bus to be utilized by the town's Division of Senior Citizens. Motion by Councilman Guardron, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. You know, that service of the buses, and we thank, actually, initially federal government funds that, Congressman Garbarino and everyone else involved. But I drive to work and I go down my block, and invariably, almost every morning, I see this lady, when the weather is not like it is now, sitting on her stoop, waiting for the senior bus to come take her to the senior center. And it's such a lifeline and a wonderful service that we provide. So to everyone in the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs that does that, we thank you for that. Okay, next is an authorization for supervisor to execute an amendment to the professional services agreement with P.W. Grosser Consulting in connection with the proposed dredging of the Browns River Marina West and East. Motion by Councilman O'Connor. Second, I'll second that if you don't mind. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. 26 is an authorization for the supervisor to execute the third option year related to the Breeze Aviation Group airline use and lease agreement. This is year 3 of a 5-year initial agreement. This airline is going to 9 different destinations nonstop from Islip Airport, non-Florida destinations. The majority of them are to Charleston and Portland, Maine in the summer. It's been a real success story. And they were born at Islip MacArthur Airport, Breeze Airways. So I'm going to make that, well, I won't make that motion, Councilman O'Connor made the motion, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Next is an authorization for the supervisor to execute an agreement with Suffolk County for Long Island MacArthur Airport to collect funds as outlined in a recent amendment to Suffolk County Local Law 13. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next is the appointment of a delegate and alternate delegate to attend the 2025 Association of Towns Annual Meeting. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 29, acceptance of a monetary donation from the Town of Islip Housing Authority to be used for the Town of Islip's 39th Annual Just Say No to Drugs Sharpshooter Basketball Contest, which will be held Saturday, March 1st. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone. Second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Next is the bid awards. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
By Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 31, option year resolutions. Again, are there any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next is an authorization for the acceptance of a deed for sidewalk access located at the south side of the parcel conveyed by JOL Holdings LLC and Steel Campus, the second LLC, to be dedicated to the Town of Islip. Are there any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next is an authorization of the acceptance of a deed to land on the west side of Eisen Avenue conveyed by EB at Vets Highway 2 LLC to the Town of Islip for highway purposes. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 34 is an authorization for supervisor to execute change order number 2 for Austin Interiors in connection with the main terminal building, MEP for general contracting services at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Again, to correct some fake news, I am not proposing that we destroy the existing terminal. Item 35, next is an authorization for the supervisor to enter into a 1-year contract renewal and amendment of the professional service agreement between Lyral Engineers for site plan review for commercial development within the Town of Islip. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. The final item on the agenda today is the adoption of a policy that allows the supervisor to execute any lease agreement that will provide each board member the option of maintaining an office within the geographic boundaries of their respective district, in addition to having an office made available within Town Hall.
If I may,
You may.
because there is some confusion about this resolution, I make a motion to table it.
We have a motion and a second to table. Hopefully, it will be clarified, because we have never paid to lease space for council members in the history of the town that I'm aware of. And I think this would be a bad precedent to set in expending taxpayer dollars. So there's a motion and a second to table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is tabled. And no other business to come before us. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you so much.